Hello and welcome to chapter 16 in 3 turns, and let's start with some prep screen stuff. So I inherited a whole bunch of reposition. So Zelkov has reposition, Ivy has reposition, I think Pendro already had it, but Hortensia has reposition, and Alchrist and Fogado already had it, but a few new people with reposition, which will be necessary. As for forges, I did forge a Bolganone, or Bolganone, I don't know how it's pronounced, I apologize. But in the end, I actually did not need it. I could have just used an L-Fire, so I'll point out kind of why. Well, actually you can, it's pretty easy to see. If you look at Marnie's stats, she has 11 res and 50 HP, which means I need to do 25 per hit, which means I need to have 36 total magic attack. I'm scrolling way past. Ivy with L-Fire is 33, which is not enough. But in the end, I am next to Alir, which was not my original strategy, but I needed it. I needed Alir to be next to her for a different reason, which was a little harder to pull off, but as a result, I could have used L-Fire. So that forge, not necessary, but it is what happened, and I'm too lazy to go back and undo it, because I'm sure I'll need it anyways later down the line. Let's see. I don't think there were any other forges, but there was an engraving on the killer axe here. This is with Lynn. So I replaced the Marth engrave. It was a hard decision, but I kind of had to do it. So the biggest reason is adding, well, it has more crit rate for one, less physical attack, sure, but also less weight. So I have 22 speed, whereas like the previous Marth engraved killer axe had me weighed down by 3, which would put me at 20, and that would be no bueno. On top of the fact that I have more crit rate with Lynn. So yeah. Okay, so the reason I need Alir next to... Oh, okay, see, there was one other thing, and Alir goes hand in hand, but Ivy... I gave her a Draco shield, so she was at base value 15 defense before, she is now at 17. And then she has 2 from cooking, and then you see bond ring plus 2. She doesn't have an emblem ring, she's just wearing straight up like a Gatrie. Where can you see the stats? I don't know why it doesn't... Okay, well, you can see on the left there, strength, dex, and 2 defense. And I need that 2 defense. So the reason is, all the way over here, there are these stupid ass martial masters, and they have 24 physical attack. You can see it over here. It's 24 physical attack, and that's like accounting for the fact that it's like mixed strength and magic. So it's like 20 and then plus 4 from shielding art. And I will need to enemy phase Marnie, but the problem is that these guys want to break Ivy because they have fists, and then they do damage to her, and then they'll break. So these guys want to break Ivy, and then it ends up blocking Marnie from being able to attack, which is like, it's so stupid because they do no damage. They basically do no damage, but and I guess it's the same concept that I used in chapter 10 to my advantage, but this time it's to my detriment. But anyway, how I avoid that issue is by, so as you can see, I have 21 defense with the ring, Draco shield, and food. I will get +2 more defense from, where is she? Here, Hortensia is wearing the Sharana ring. She's got fortified defense. So that puts me at 23 defense. And then I get 1 more damage reduction from standing next to Alir. So that will be 24. The monks no longer do damage. And they will no longer be enticed to attack me. It was annoying that I had to give up my Draco shield like this, but because like I don't anticipate Ivy to need that much defense compared to, say, Kagetsu down the line, but it is what it is. And yeah, I think that should be all. I don't think I rolled any new bond rings, and then you'll kind of get to see what role the emblem rings will serve in the run. So let's get to the run after I make a cut. Alright, so let's talk about this map. So there's 2 bosses, there's Mauvier and Marnie, and they're pretty far away, and they're also separated. So what my short-term objective is to Astra Storm Mauvier and aggro him. Well, also do damage, but like both damage and aggro him. And the curious thing is that aggroing Mauvier will aggro Marnie as well, even though they're pretty far away. So that's also pretty integral to the fact that this works in 3 turns. Now what I did there was I had Alir personal so that Rosado with the Erica engage attack just chunks down the the worm.
Ready for me?
And then I make a few moves there where I reposition Zelkov with Pendreo, dance Pendreo, and then I go down to silence that Royal Knight down there. And I need to silence him because otherwise he has a high hit chance freeze staff, and that just completely kills anything I'm trying to do. And the nice thing about the silence staff is that it doesn't aggro the group down there, even though like when it hits, it's like you would expect it to aggro. Anyway, I landed the silence, so that was good. And the reason I've been rewinding right now is because I want Kagetsu to take damage from this worm on purpose. And I landed a crit on that first attack, which was no bueno. So now it's all good. I need to lower my HP for Vander because I do need that 3 attack. So here Ivy's going to reposition. And then yeah, I had like Fogado. Fogado didn't need to take damage, but he was helping to burn some RN to help Kagetsu not crit. Yeah, and then Gold Mary did some helpful chain attacking there. Alright, so that's a turn. I basically obstructed the middle island there, so the people on that fort will kind of stay put. The only thing that will happen, yeah, those flyers down there, they just always move. And those 2 mage knights try to attack Pendreo, but to no avail. First things first, I'm going to clear out these Pegasus knights because they are, I mean, I could technically avoid them, but it's just like free EXP. I think this is just like overall more EXP. And then I do it first on this turn because they have some shaky hit rates on the bows. So if they miss, I can burn RN in other ways. Alright, so here I'm just also clearing out these Mage Knights, and then you see Zelkov, he didn't move his max distance because, well, he didn't need to. He only needed to move 4 there, and then he also can set up some doubles there. And Alir was blocking him from making doubles on the right side, which is important because I will want to dance him in a second.
Where we headed?
So I'm just gonna clear some of these enemies. So there's not much enemy phase action on these first 2 turns. Pretty much thanks to like the obstructs on the first turn, and then these Lin doubles kind of make the enemy phases like not threatening at all, and like not a lot of enemies move either, because I am making sure that I'm out of range of that cav that I highlight the enemy range of. That's like kind of the danger zone. If I kind of step there, there's the heroes on the fort on the left there, and then also like the Radiant Bow Paladin, or Bow Knight is what it is, whatever. But yeah, those guys get pretty annoying, so best not to aggro them. The reason Vander has Ike is actually literally so he can have reposition. He does not have enough SP to inherit it. And I don't want to spend a seal on like Jade or something. Or like second sealing Amber here. I could. Certainly an option, but I didn't want to. The reason I'm not talking too much about this enemy piece right now is because I'm going to have to restart. Well, not restart, but rewind. Because I actually forgot to switch Kagetsu's weapon to Vander. Which I'll realize in like... It'll take me a second to realize, but... So the way I was positioned on that turn, so I'll talk a little more about what was happening towards the end of the previous turn, but Zelkov was just in range to Astra Storm Movier, thanks to the covert bonus, and I was also standing next to Alir, which gives plus 3 damage before the 30% cut for like per hit, and that lets me do 2 times 5 instead of 1 times 5, which is actually very important. So with that 10 damage, Movier goes from 46 to 36 HP, and you'll see that even with Vander, Kagetsu has exactly... well, he'll do exactly 12 damage before critting. And 12 times 3 equals 36, so I get exact damage, which is pretty insane. Not insane. It's just nice, I guess. And then let's see. So I've also given Kagetsu the Corrin emblem ring, and he is at bond level 8 for Draconic Hex. So after this combat, I'll have reduced Movier's defense, and Movier also is currently, he has his personal where like he gets +2 defense if he does no action and waits. So that's why I do like so little damage right now. But on the enemy phase, he will have much lower defense, and I can just straight up one-shot him with a crit. So that's the plan over there. And also, Corrin Emblem has a neat ability that basically freezes the enemy. It's not freeze, I guess. I don't know if it's technically freeze, but it reduces their movement to 0, just like freeze does. Probably not exactly freeze, so like if you had immunity to freeze, maybe it would still work, but point being, Mauvier can't move, can't try to flame lance me from range, therefore he will just try to hit me, and then hopefully I crit him. So that's the plan there. Now over here I'm going to have to do some reposition chains to get Ivy and Alir in range to get to Marnie. And yeah, right now I'm like, you'll see me hesitate for quite a while because I'm not, this is like my first run with the new strat, not the new strat, but like the
I can do more.
The strat accounting for those martial monks, and I wasn't entirely sure if Marnie would go for Alir if I didn't have an obstruct blocking, and then the reason I don't have an obstruct blocking right now is because I had to like change how I did repositions in order to facilitate Alir being the Lucina ring holder instead of Pandreo, which is where I used to have it. So right now I'm like, and like Seedal's being blocked by 2 enemies instead of just 1, which is normally the case. So in the end I'm just like, fuck it, we ball, see how it goes. And then I actually attack from the wrong side because I should be attacking from the top so that Seedal can dance afterwards. So I kind of give up some EXP here. But I did get a crit, so I actually didn't miss too much EXP. I also end turn before dancing, so that was like more free XP. I don't know. But anyways, I get the crit here on the enemy phase. Mauvier moves first thing. But unfortunately, Marnie does not move next thing. This worm does, but luckily I have Bond Shield. This was a little spooky because I thought that guy could maybe try to go for like... I was scared that Fogado would actually just kind of get dunked because Marnie wasn't going yet, but finally she makes her move before anything too disastrous happens. Blocked by Bonded Shield, of course. Very strong ability. And there we go. That was chapter 16 in 3 turns.